So you know how in several of my videos I kept talking about how I need something better than my laptop to be, I usually set my phone right here when I'm recording, and I kept saying that I need something better to sit my phone on while recording. Dun 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 dun. My sister went and ahead and bought it for me. She's seen enough of my videos where I talked about it, I guess. She went ahead and got it. Found a fairly cheap one. So now the camera angle's better. It's not looking up at me all the time. You won't be able to hear my computer as well, hopefully. Hopefully you can still hear me properly. Now I just have to figure out how to get the camera angle right because now that it's up there, I prefer that stay in the view focused behind me because at least that's a nice actual picture versus random stuff like my sister's what do you call it? She listed all the favorite actors and entertainers and stuff that we've Asian ones, and she put them in birth order and stuff, and my random little box of random stuff, and I just put that on the wall the other day. It was sitting down there and it kept falling off, but that was pink, believe it or not. It was a flower that fell off of a plant where I work, so I picked it up and pressed it and put tape on it, and in that process it turned brown. It's still kind of cute though. You can't see it from far away very well, but that was a flower. It fell apart too. But anyway, it's a very random background that I have, and I've tried to do something, and like that's the nicest thing in my background, but that's about as best as I can do because now all of this stuff is in the background that I didn't expect to be in the background, and like it used to be more focused on this side of it. But with this camera angle, I don't know. Would it look better on the other side? Because oh, that's why, yeah. Because if it's over here, okay, so you can see that picture, but you can't see it. My head is literally right where that picture is. So I like it better over here, even though that, I don't know. So this is going to take some adjusting. Bear with me. But it's been a long time, and what I feared would happen is happening. See, the last one that I uploaded besides Asuka, being Asuka, where they're taking a noisy bath again, I said that I was refilming or redoing the video that I was doing while she was doing that, and this is me trying to refilm that, and that was how long ago? But see, I haven't had much time by myself to actually film videos because I've been doing stuff with my sister, and she had time off work and I had time off work, so we were doing stuff together instead of me filming anything. And I was saying in the other videos, none of which I'm keeping, even though there's probably perfectly fine quality in there, but I'm just ridiculous. Now she's got a cat over there bathing herself and a cat right beside me bathing herself. Animals. None of them were doing anything until I start talking, and then they're like, what? Let's cause a fuss. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying in the other video that, like, my problem with this topic that I wanted to do, that cats and characters one, the problem is that I'm a deep thinker, not the fact that I'm an overthinker, because I had everything set up and I know basically in my head what I wanted to do, but every time I try to say it out loud, it's all scattered all over the place because I'm such a deep thinker, and I'm not very good at organizing things sometimes. Like, I can get all kinds of puzzle pieces and I can come this close, and I'm terrible at putting them together. I have figured that out more and more about myself. I'm just terrible at putting them together. That's why I'm really bad at studying, by the way. It took me years to figure out that I'm really bad at studying, and that's at least part of why, because I can gather all kinds of information, but putting it together, that's a whole different skill set, and I don't have it. But now the problem is that I'm starting to overthink it because it has been a long time since I've watched these things now. Because in that video, like, I spoiled it with the title and with the thumbnail, but I never actually said his name. What I'm trying to do is go through the actor Ren Jialun and prove that he is one of the most epic actors ever, because when it comes to epic acting, it's not just like doing good characters. It's he and his company and whoever is part of him choosing which roles he's going to play. A lot of his characters are very, very similar, but you can't get away from that happening because human beings in general are very, very similar. And then no matter what you do, it is the same actor playing all of these different characters. So the actor's life is going to, okay, honestly, this happens every time. Everybody is dead silent, and then I try to write do a video, and then all of a sudden I'm getting text messages. Anyway, what was I saying? On track. Stay on track. What was I saying? Human beings in general are very, very similar, and then the actor, no matter how good they are, the actor themselves is going to be influencing the character, so then the characters are going to be similar purely because of the actor that's playing them. And I felt like I had a good point that I was working toward, and I don't think I have it anymore. But what some actors get stereocast. Some people get cast into the same type of character over and over again. They're such a pretty boy, they have to play pretty boy characters, or they're such a bad guy, they have to play all bad guys, and they're whatever, they get cast the same type of character. But I think also what happens, and what I realize is happening while I'm watching Jialun's stuff, a lot of actors play the same type of story, and then regularly play the same type of character while playing the same type of story. So then you can guess what's going to happen from there. So I think that happens a lot too, and Jialun and his people that are involved in picking which stories he plays, well, he's got a lot of characters that are very similar. He does a really good job of picking characters that have unique things about them that make them stand out, but on top of that, he picks unique stories that make the story stand out. And even if in the larger picture the stories are not all that unique, like if you go and look at other actors in other books and other shows and other whatever, you're going to find those stories in other places, because it's the combination of how you put a story together, not the actual ideas that are in it that are unique, because there's only so many ideas that you can put into any story, because that's just how human beings are. We all work with the same ideas. We literally all work with the same ideas. It's how we twist them, how we shape them, how we combine them, how we present them. But at the core basics, they're all the same ideas. So yeah, you're going to find similar ideas in other people's portfolios, or whatever the right word is for actors. But within his, he does a good job of picking stories that within his are unique from each other. So the stories themselves are actually standing out as individuals, on top of his characters standing out as individuals. And that, to me, I never really thought of that element being an element before, necessarily, picking stories that stand out as unique, but he does that, and I think that's one of the things that has made, in my opinion, has made him one of the best actors that I've come across. I still have, I do this thing where when I get, excited about something, if any of my emotions, if they get heightened, I automatically start exaggerating. That's how I am. It's likely an ADHD thing, but I tend to do that. I exaggerate when I'm excited, when I'm depressed, when I'm angry, anything. I start exaggerating like crazy. So, and I caught myself this time. I'm like, hold on. I was planning on watching everything I can get my hands on that Jialun has ever acted in, because sometimes I just do that. I'm like, I like this actor, and I want to figure out why. I think that's one of the things I do. I've done this a few different times, and there's a few different reasons why I do that, but it's a lot of the time it's like I fixate on something because I want to know why. I'm very much rooted in logic, very logical thinker, and I'm very much rooted in the whys. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why? So and then there's other reasons too, like each actor that I've gone off on watching everything they've played in, I've done it 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 other times. I feel like I might be forgetting someone, but there's been at least 4 other times where I went off and watched every single thing I could find. Yeah, at least 5 times actually, because I just remembered another actor. So at least 5 other times where I've gone off and watched everything that this actor's ever been in. And 6 other times. See, I'm remembering Sometimes sometimes it's like all straight in a row. Sometimes it's just in general, like skipping back and forth between stuff. I've ended up watching everything they've been in because they're a really good actor. And then other times I specifically fixate on that actor, and in a row I have to watch everything that they've ever been in. And I've done that a few times, and every time it's been a slightly different reason why. And this time I decided that I was going to do it with Jialun, and then not too far into it I realized what I was saying about him being such a good actor, and I'm like, hold on. Am I doing this exaggeration thing again, where it's just because he's the one I'm currently fixated on that makes me exaggerate and say he's like best actor ever? I'm careful saying that now. I never say someone is the whatever, or I try hard not to say someone or anything is the whatever, because that's very rarely true. Usually it's one of the. Jialun is one of the best actors I've ever seen, because sometimes once I find out the why, it kind of calms down and I'm like, they're a really good actor or whatever, but they're not necessarily one of my favorite anymore. And sometimes it's because I do run into this, okay, it's starting to get really repetitious, and like I thought they were really good at first, but then in the end, everything just kind of blends together, and I'm like, are they really that good? Or am I just getting fatigued because I'm watching too many of their things all in a row, which can be good, but also is not really a good idea. Because yeah, stuff gets blendy and nobody intends for you. It's kind of like reading books. If you read a bunch of books in a row by the same author, everything starts sounding the same. Because like I say, you only have so many ideas, and especially authors are the same as actors. It's the same author writing all the books, and no matter how unique they are, things are going to start sounding very similar once you get enough of them in a row, because it's the same person writing the books. So the author's views and beliefs and etc. are going to be shading everything they touch, whether they want it to or not, because that's just how it happens. So, all of that being said, I caught myself doing this early on with Jialun. I can't remember how many I had seen when I 2 or 3 things already that I'd seen, and I was like, So I decided to try to, because I told my sister that he's so unique and all this stuff, and like all of his characters are standing out, and I'm like, but are they? So I decided to, while I was watching the shows, my dog is distracting me now because every time she gets up and starts wandering, I'm like, what are you doing? I wanted to see if I was accurate or not. The only way I could think to do that, because I need as full of a list as possible before I can really confirm. So while I was watching his stuff, I was writing short notes about each character, what makes them so unique, and I was like, every time, especially when I found a character where I'm like, okay, here we go, now we're going to find basically a carbon copy, I'm like, okay, why do I think that? And, well, are they a carbon copy, or what is it that makes them stand out as unique? And, like, the 2 best examples I can think of is actually the first main character that I saw him play and the last main character that I watched him play. And I'm like, carbon copy much? And then I figured out, nope, they are not carbon copy because of one main difference. One thing I'm positive is a difference, and I'm like, yeah, no, that makes actually a big difference. So, every time I try to get into this, it ends up not being what I wanted to do and not being correct, and it irritated me to pieces. So here I am trying again. This is the 3rd or 4th time at least that I don't think it's up to 5, but it's like the 3rd or 4th time that I have tried to do this, because every time I approached it I end up doing it wrong, and I'm just, I can't think when you got pieces from all different wherevers. So, yeah, the very first thing that I ever watched Jialun play in was like almost 2 years ago already. And I barely noticed him because he's a bit character. He's only in a few episodes. And then the next thing that I saw him play in, he's also a bit character that's only in a few episodes. And I watched that back in July of this year. So that's July, August, September, October. Yeah, this is October. So it was 3 months ago. 3 months ago that why do I keep thinking it was 4? Why did I say 4 at one point? Weird. June, July. Weird. I thought it was 4 months at one point. See, this is why I have to refilm, because I even said the wrong thing. It was 3 months ago that I watched the other bit thing that he was in, and then 2 months ago that I watched the first main character thing specifically for him and started the whole journey. So now, like I say, it went from just a deep thinker, the problem being that I'm a deep thinker and I want to explore every little detail of absolutely everything because I'm such a deep thinker, so, and all of that, to now I'm overthinking because it's been so long and I'm like, is that really the correct order? But see, because the thing is, I'm trying to rank his characters from least favorite to favorite of mine, and every time I think I've got it correct, like, the problem is, when what I'm most excited about tends to be on top. While I was watching it, there's only one thing that didn't change. The one thing that didn't change was the one character that I put at the top. He never came down. And then I was like, okay, how come he's not coming down? Is he only staying at the top because he was, like, the second that... Now I'm spoiling things. I'm not supposed to tell you what the ranks are yet. Is he staying there just because, like, you know, the first few characters that you tend to watch and stuff, you tend to, like, hold on to them because they're, like, the first ones? Or, like, because... Okay, now I'm scattered all of a sudden. I knew where I was going and then I scattered myself. I was surprised that he stayed on top, and then I'm like, am I just being weirdly stubborn about him being on top? Or is he supposed to be on top? And why would I move him down? Are the other characters really supposed to be above him, or am I wanting to put them above just because I'm suddenly more excited about them because that's the one that that I watched most recently, so it's the one that I'm now most excited about, because that's a thing too. Whatever most recent exciting thing that I latched onto that's the one that's the most exciting, like I say, the exaggeration thing. So I'm like, by the end of the day, is any of this accurate or not? So then I felt like that was a thing, and then my thoughts on the actual... Go away, you two. Stop chatting while I'm trying to film videos. What do you call it? What was I saying? For the love of sanity. This is all going to have to be a separate video, because once I actually start on this list, it's going to be a really long one, and I'm going to be unapologetic about that, because I want to have fun, and I can't have fun if I'm limiting myself and thinking about other people being, this is too long. It's going to be long. And I don't care. But this I'll put maybe separately. What was I saying? The actual story of the actual show itself influences what I think of the character, and the character influences what I think of the show, but they are not exactly the same, but they heavily influence each other. So I'm like, am I thinking too much of the show itself, and that's rearranging the characters in a way it shouldn't? So I tried hard to disconnect them so I could just arrange the characters, and I came up with a list, and it felt accurate, and that was like the last time that I was trying to film stuff, and now I'm looking at it going, don't think that's accurate, don't think it, So I'm going to go through it the way it's listed right now, but I'm telling you straight up front that there's many different factors, a lot of stuff that I'm forgetting, and every time I remember them, I want to rearrange the list. This is all subjective anyway, so it kind of... What is it that I'm... What makes me like a character and what makes me dislike a character? What makes me like people in general and what makes me dislike people in general? And how does that, like, I mean, you know, when I think of this list of stuff, a character might drop. But if I think of this list of stuff, a character goes up. And, yeah... And then, like I say, I'm trying hard not to let the story itself dictate what I think of the character, but that is happening. Okay. So, now that you know, just for the fun of whatever, because this video is already fairly long and I've barely started the introduction, I'll make this a kind of separate video. Plus I'm kind of trying to chatty because I'm not entirely awake right now, because I wanted to start on this as soon as possible while I'm still home alone, and so I've been up for long enough, but at the same time it takes me forever to wake up, and it takes forever to wake my voice up. So now that you know that that's exactly what I'm doing and exactly who I'm doing it with, the actor Ren Jialun. So if you want to watch the next video, even though it's going to be really long because he's been in a lot of things and I have seen a lot of dramas of his, I keep forgetting the exact number, it's something like 12 or 13 dramas that I've seen him in. And we're going to talk about his characters and what makes his characters fail and what makes his characters epic. So if you want to go along that journey with me, join me and have fun with me. see you in the next video, I hope.